Thank you. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for having me. It's really hard to believe that just about 16 years ago, I walked across a stage on this very field to receive my high school diploma. That night, I would have never imagined that I'd be standing here tonight with my husband Jason sitting out here and my three beautiful daughters, giving a speech about how cancer invaded our lives. For those who know me, know I like to joke around. I actually would like to meet Jimmy Fallon someday. He's one of my favorite comedians and has been since the movie Taxi. But if I met him, I'd probably freeze up, and my only words I'd be able to say would be like, so, and which I'll probably be doing tonight while I'm talking. So now I have a job for my youth field hockey players. I need you to listen and count how many times I use those words as filler words, so I can go back and tell my co-workers how many times I did that so they can pick on me. But be nice, because at first practice, I'll remember how nice you were. I'm also a little spunky and pretty stubborn. I was one of those people who hardly ever went to the doctors. Before my diagnosis, I think I could count on one hand how many times I had gone in the last 15 years, not including prenatal visits. You may ask, Jackie, how did you not know you were sick? Well, I like to think I have a high pain tolerance. No offense, but I'm not a fan of doctors. I don't like taking meds. Jason's famous for telling people, yes, Jackie's arm could be falling off and needing reattached, and she would just say, I'm fine. And well, he's pretty much correct. For years, I dealt with severe fatigue and pain from ovarian cyst rupturing. We knew I had PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. So many of the symptoms that I was experiencing before the diagnosis of ovarian cancer mimicked the PCOS symptoms. The bloating, the constipation, the frequent urination, extreme heartburn, they also accompanied it, which I had infertility issues as well. So I would go sometimes 6 months to 4 years without having a cycle, which was another symptom of the PCOS. So I also thought maybe I was pregnant. So we went through many pregnancy tests as well, thinking that was the issue. So that was pretty sad when we get the negative responses each time. Off and on for a few months, I kept getting bouts of what I thought was heartburn, where I feel like I was going to pass out. At one point, I was at my girls' softball tournament, and I had to lay down under the canopy for well over an hour. Jason wanted to take me to the hospital that day, and of course, I refused. I had a bachelorette party for my best friend, and when another spell hit me one time. I remember popping Tums like candy and crawling in the back seat of her mom's car and laying down until I slept off the pain. The end of July 2015, I had the worst attack yet, and I was at work. The pain hit me so bad it knocked me to my knees. I felt like there was something pulling my insides down right out of me. My abdomen was so enlarged I looked like I was pregnant. Just breathing hurt. I started popping the antacids. At home I couldn't eat, sleep, and my body was spasming. My collarbone hurt, my body was swollen. I remember trying to lay in bed, and just that slight movement sent my body into another spasm. I went downstairs, and at one point I felt myself passing out, and I felt the cold floor hit my face, but it helped me stay conscious as I tried to yell for Jason, but he couldn't hear me. Finally, I was able to crawl to the love seat where I rested sitting up that night. The next day was no better. The pain didn't subside, but I called my doctor. Tests were done, and through the ultrasound, the tumor was found. And a CT was done that same day to get a better view of what was going on. Going into the operating room, my amazing doctor, he knew our wishes. He knew we wanted to have another child and was going to do whatever was possible to ensure that, until he realized it was too late. That grapefruit-sized tumor had already ruptured, and the fluid was throughout my abdomen, forcing him to remove everything. explaining why I was so swollen and the extreme pain I was having. And why am I telling you these details? I feel God made the pain so intense to force me to see that doctor that day. Otherwise, I would have just dealt with it yet again. And who knows what the outcome would have been. It probably would have been much different. So maybe someone here today is just dealing with something, or knows someone struggling and putting it off, thinking it too will pass. Remember what I'm telling you tonight. Don't be stubborn like I was. Seek help, or talk them into seeking help, even if you know it's not cancer. If it's impacting your daily life and the lives around you, it's important. Your life is worth it. Don't wait. The words, "you have ovarian cancer," they were really hard to swallow. For weeks before I felt really sick, the hymn, "It is well with my soul," just kept running through my head. I couldn't understand why. But I finally understood it when my doctor gave me the news. I feel God put that song in my path to prepare me for the journey I was about to embark on. I knew I was going to be fine. Knowing I had cancer didn't necessarily bother me. I knew I was in great hands. I knew the cancer would be removed. But what bothered me the most was when I called Jason and told him what my doctor thought I had. Watching how my girls and our family reacted, that really crushed me. Yes, I had 3 beautiful daughters, but the dreams of having another child, that was over for us, at least naturally. Not being able to go to work, for those of you who know me, the Joel box, that's my second home. Granted, I drove my doctor crazy. Every week I begged him to go back to work, and after surgery, and after my treatment started, and he kept telling me no. But me being stubborn, I found a loophole and had the work brought to me. The other issue was my doctor told me I was going to lose my hair. My hair was down almost to my hips at the time. And that was a huge blow. He said, "You're definitely going to lose it all. You're going to want to cut it first. It won't be as big of a struggle if you cut it." And I know other women have gone through the same thing, and they understand. I had about 2 bad days of that. I got over it. But then I really struggled watching a couple of my friends and some of the ladies at the chemo treatment center as I watched them struggle with this horrible disease. It really tore me apart inside. I would pray, pleading that some of my good health would be passed to them to heal their broken bodies. Some I saw get better, and unfortunately others I didn't. I don't know what God's reasoning is for it, but I do know I need to continue to honor their memories in all I do. And hopefully tonight I'm honoring them through my story, and maybe sharing I can help one person, and this will be worth it for everyone who has gone through this journey, or at least it will be for me. Through all my struggles, God showed me that He cared, and that He supplied all of my needs, and that He's always faithful. And through the journey, Psalm 31:7 kept jumping out at me, and it basically said that I see all your hardships, and I care about your suffering. I'm the type of person who always looks at the glass half full instead of half empty. I try to find the good in things. And if I was going to lose my hair, I needed to get some cool hats. And I was going to find the brightest purple, pink, and red lipstick there was out there. And hopefully take the tension off my bald head. Now these lip colors have become a staple of my wardrobe, even with my new hair. During the chemo treatments, I joked around with my friend and I said, "At least there's one good thing about this chemo. I don't have to shave my legs." She thought I was awful. I thought it was a plus. Sometimes, like I said, you have to find the good and the bad. And did you know that if you do lose your hair with chemo, that sometimes you lose your eyebrows, your eyelashes, and your nose hair too? I didn't know this, but I found that out, and that comes back too. As I lost my hair, Jason, who isn't a social media fan, insisted that I post a picture of myself bald. He knew that I needed to do this. Why, might you ask? Many people don't know this about me, but as I get up here and basically bare my soul, I'll tell you. I hide the fact that I have self-esteem issues. He knew that I would be very critical of my bald look. I wouldn't necessarily be worried about what people think of me being bald, but I'd be more concerned about people staring at me, wondering what's underneath those head coverings. So his plan was, why not show the world first? I in no way expected the outpouring of love I received from that post. It was crazy. I expected my best friends, my coworkers, and of course my family to comment, but not the hundreds upon hundreds of absolutely genuinely positive responses. The amount of love I felt in that response to the post helped in that huge transition. Being forced out of my comfort zone has showed me how much people love me no matter what I look like, whether bald or not. It's the beauty within that really matters the most. The amount of encouragement through the little notes and messages saying how great or beautiful I looked was so encouraging and so uplifting. And although I may not have always believed it, it was so helpful. So to all of you who sent them, you know who you are. Thank you. For those of you who are battling cancer now, try to stay positive. I know it's not always easy. The pain and the sickness and the treatments are not easy. My girls, especially Candace, would question me at times as I would force myself to get up and dress and put my makeup on each day. Even if I wasn't going anywhere, just putting a smile on my face, even in pain, just made me feel that little bit better. Find what makes you happy and focus on it. My strength came from God. My family and friends and you, the community, really helped my spirits. I use verses and a whole playlist of inspirational music to keep me positive. Running was and is my outlet, and I try to stay busy. It is what I mentally need to help keep me and help me feel better and keep me positive. I actually probably drove my doctor and the whole medical staff at the cancer center crazy, asking to go back to work and asking to run. When I finally were given permission to go to work and to start running, I used my spunky personality to push my boundaries. I started doing steps at the park with my friend Lindsay, and Jason ratted me out to the doctor. So I said I was just working on running, like working up to running, like you said I could. And so I asked the doctor, I was like, well, can I start speed walking? And he said, sure. So I said, Jason, see, I was speed walking. The next week I asked him if I could use the elliptical. And after a little resistance, I got a yes from him. And I said, good, because I was using it this morning. And of course I got the look, and I'm sure he was thinking, oh, no wonder I call her the troublemaker. A little over 6 months ago, I did finish my chemo treatments. The moment that PICC line was removed was probably, I think, one of the best days, because I saw the sense of relief over Jason's face. It just rolled off of his shoulders. I'm still struggling with some fatigue, but I'm cancer-free. I'm back to running almost every day, trying to get back to my normal self, if there is a normal self for me. But I just have to say, this relay is an amazing event. I'm amazed every year when I see that final tally of money raised by the community. This county is not so little. It has such a huge heart. My family saw that firsthand. I'm so proud to be part of this community. It's not about the money necessarily raised at this relay. Yes, it's so wonderful. But I've seen this community's heart and love firsthand through fundraisers and benefits for our family, as well as the ones I've watched pop up over the last few months from my friends, as well as others who are struggling with cancer and other critical issues. And it's just amazing at the amount of love and support, again, this community has for one another. Just thinking about it just makes me so happy and actually makes me tear up. You may not realize it, but just the meals, the flowers, the texts, the emails, phone calls, a smile, a hug, or a kind word telling someone they're beautiful, a prayer shawl, offering to watch their kids, the donations, just little acts of kindness. They just mean so much. Like I said, I should know. They meant the world to our family. Do you want to help someone? Just know you don't have to help them with money. There's so many other ways you can be a blessing. The ovarian cancer doesn't always affect women my age. It's very, very rare. But all women should be aware of the symptoms of the cancer. So I'm going to tell you, if you suffer from abdominal pain or pelvic discomfort, or being bloated, or noticing your clothes don't fit, loss of appetite before or after a meal, gas, indigestion, weight loss or gain, change in bowel habits or frequent urination, fatigue, back pain, unusual bleeding, discharge, shortness of breath, any of these things, please see a doctor. My family and I just would like to say thank you for all of you who stood behind us and are still standing through us for everything, through everything. Thank you for all of your prayers and support. It really means so much to us. Thank you.